I'm really looking forward to it. Uh, we'll play the video first, and then I don't think he needs any introduction. The next talk is by Manu Chopra. He's the CEO of Karya. And I want to share something really quick. He is his own Sajam, which means he loves Bollywood music. And he told me while we were chatting outside that you play any Bollywood song, just the music, and he can guess it. So that's incredible. So with that, let the AV please play the video.
Does this? Oh, this works. Amazing. Fantastic. Hi, everyone. Super excited to be here. It's so joyful to be here. Karya is the Sanskrit word for work that gives you dignity, right? I think this is probably the room where I have to least explain this, but as all of us know, there's this idea of Karya and Akarya, work that gives to you and work that takes from you. And our mission at Karya is very simple, right? We want to offer economically disadvantaged Indians a pathway out of poverty by offering them dignified AI-enabled solutions to earn and learn, right? I think everyone in the room knows that India has 230 million people who are still in poverty. That's more than any other country in the world. When we started our work, it was actually at Stanford. We learned that a 2019 World Economic Forum report showed that it takes an average low-income Indian, the average poor person that we work with, has to work for 7 generations to make $1,500 in savings, which is considered as the entry to middle class in India, which means the pathway from poverty to middle class was 7 generations of work or 7 generations of labor. And obviously, to everyone in this room and to me, it just was simply unacceptable. And the question became, how do we use AI? How do we use technology, which is the only thing I'm good at, to tackle that? How do we make sure that this is no longer the case? I see that the steps are missing. Maybe that's a metaphor for the steps being missing in real life as well. But it is something that we needed to fix. And that's how Karya started, right? We noticed that big tech sector, companies like Google and Microsoft were spending billions of dollars every year collecting training data for their AI and ML models. And the question became very quickly, this would be a match made in heaven, right? If we can connect the 230 million low-income individuals in India that need flexible remote work directly to the $100 billion global AI training data sector, fantastic. We very quickly ran into the first problem, which is that the AI data sector today, the way it exists globally, across the global south, is fundamentally unethical. workers can make as little as 30 cents an hour in an industry worth billions of dollars. And that fundamentally means that AI today is an unjust labor market. You know, when we talk about AI, we assume it's all automatic. There are 5 million plus data workers that are employed all over the global south today in an industry worth billions of dollars, building data sets worth hundreds of dollars, making as little as 30 cents an hour for doing that work, right? And we saw this as an opportunity for a win-win. Can we fix this unjust labor market? And in the process of doing that, can we build an entirely new pathway out of poverty for our people? And that's what Karya hopes to do. We generate high quality image, speech, video, and text data sets employing communities in rural India today. We pay our workers the highest wages in the global data sector. We redirect the majority of the client revenue back to the workers, and we invest in their welfare beyond just giving them work with the goal of building the world's foremost ethical AI data company. In the last 1 year, of course, we worked with several players, including Vadvani AI. Ramesh sir was on stage today and just really look up to the incredible work he does. And we've been evaluated by some of the most incredible donors in the ecosystem, including Fast Forward, Kevin's right here, Kevin is right here, and the Gates Foundation, which has been truly incredible. And I think for us, fundamentally, we think of low-income individuals in India and globally as excellent builders of AI. And if that is the case, we better pay them what they deserve, and excellent beneficiaries of AI, right? So usually at this stage, when I'm presenting Karya, people go, that sounds great, and he's sounding very loud, but I do not understand what these people do in their homes on their phones, right? So I want to walk you through a specific example. So say Google wants to build a Google Assistant in one of India's 19,059 unique dialects. India is the second most linguistically diverse country in the world. You pick two Indians at random, the chance they speak a different language is 92%. It's very impressive. So Google says, I want to build something in Marathi, one of India's many languages. They'll reach out to Karya, say, I need 10,000 hours of speech data in Marathi. We'll take Google's big digital task, break it into micro tasks, distribute it to our workers in rural India via their phones. And our workers will get paid 20 times the Indian minimum wage for just sitting at home and speaking on the smartphone in their mother tongue. Workers like Reshma. Reshma was the very first person we ever worked with back in 2017. I had graduated from Stanford, I think June of 2017. And 4 days later, got back to India, created Karya with my co-founder. And in September, met Reshma. She looked at the smartphone and said, Iske andar Surya Dev hai? Or is the sun god inside this? Because this was her very first time seeing a smartphone. I'm usually clever about my interactions, and I didn't say anything because I didn't want to speak the doubt I had in my mind. But I did think, I don't know if she can do this. And maybe my face betrayed my mouth. And 30 minutes later, she came back to me and she said, why did you think this was so hard for me? I did it, right? I figured out how to use a smartphone. It is not hard at all. And it is not hard at all. And I just had to read out sentences. In her very first week at Karya, she made 10,000 rupees, which was more money than her family had made all of last year. In the month, she's a lot happier with the cash, which I think is all true for all of us. Uh, in the month after, she made even more money. She made over 100,000 rupees working with us. She became the first girl from her community to leave the village and go to college, right? And we know this, right? All of us know this. Money enables opportunities. It's a cushion from reality. We all where we are because someone gave us that opportunity, right? Talent is universal, opportunity is not, right? So the question is, can we use AI to democratize access to earning and learning opportunities? At Karya, we are trying to redesign and retrain how AI models are fundamentally built. We create worker-owned data sets. So workers own the data that they build. That means they get royalties every single time those data sets are sold and resold. We are researchers and nerds at heart. So we are built on 5 years of peer-reviewed research. We just wrapped up our first RCT with JPAL that shows that Karya triples the job take-ups among women workers. It acts as a gateway to formal economy jobs. And when women do Karya work, their husbands and children become less traditional and more progressive, which is a no-brainer. It makes sense, but it's nice that there's a research evidence behind it. All of our work is open source, which means all of you can take Karya to where your communities are and what you are passionate about. And the work and the models work without internet, without any assumption or knowledge of English and things like that. In the last 2 years, our workers have done 40 million tasks on the Karya platform. When we now reach 37,000 workers, one of the greatest thrills of my life is to keep on updating the slide. Uh, we'll be at 100,000 workers in the next 2 months, which we are super duper excited about. And we believe we will cross 1 billion tasks this year, which is even more exciting. Uh, I think in India today, we are in an extremely lucky position. Millions of Indians in rural India have access to a smartphone, a bank account, and an internet connection. That's not normal, right? That digital infrastructure has come up over the last 5, 10 years, and that's a huge opportunity, right? 78% of rural Indians have access to a smartphone, according to the latest ASR report. Despite that, rural India remains among the world's poorest areas, and we have a shot to fix that, right? By bringing AI-based enabled work to our people, our workers today can get to that same $1,500 savings, not in 7 generations, in 7 months, right? And this is just the start. And I think that's really, really important that we start thinking about ways we can use AI to accelerate social mobility. We've had a pretty exciting year so far. We had the honor of Satya speaking about our work at the Microsoft keynote over a month ago. And it was extremely thrilling to see a company like Microsoft that is known for cutting edge AI talk about baby thigh. So the video you saw in the beginning was the video that Microsoft shot for us. And we had the chance to have baby thigh meet Satya and describe to him what she does. And it was an incredible honor for me to see an AI data worker meet one of the most important AI CEOs in the world on the same stage and as equals, which is what they are. So that's really exciting. We also had the absurd honor of being on the cover of the Time magazine last year and having our workers featured on that story. This is the team that makes all the magic happen. I have the absurd privilege of coming here and talking to you all, but this is the team that gets the work done. We were kindly hosted for a retreat last year, and we were 20 people when this photo was taken, I think a little over 20. We are 45 people today, 3 months later. We'll be 60 people in a month, so it's very exciting times, and I'm thrilled to see the incredible work our team has been able to do. At Karya, fundamentally, we're on a mission to put 100 million people globally on a pathway out of poverty by 2030. Thank you so much. And I, I, I can only end this by expressing my gratitude to MR for inviting me here, for just being a champion. I think I've now known you for over a year, and through Nudge, which of course does the most incredible work in alleviating poverty in India. And I'm just so grateful to be here, and thank you for this community. Thank you. Oh, question. We can't let it go without a question. Okay. Yes. That's the kind of question you like hearing. We are fundraising. Speak with Anjali. uh, but no, I think, look, there's an incredible amount of phenomenal work happening in India today. I go back to what I think what Ramesh said at the beginning today was just utterly brilliant. We all need to be strategic philanthropists. I would be honored for Karya to be part of that strategic philanthropy like journey for you. But I would also highly recommend several other incredible nonprofits. Where's Utkarsh? He is speaking soon. He does phenomenal work in AI for legal access and democratized access to law. I mean, I can give you 100 examples of like phenomenal work happening. And they all visit the Bay Area very often because this is where all the donors are. So would be very, very happy to connect you to them. And anyway, I'll be happy to help. I can give you my email for this.
Capital is not a constraint. How fast you can do this, how far you can go?
I think that's such a good question, right? Because there's a BCG report that says the world will spend $1 trillion on building these AI data sets and AI services. I think what Karya has proven is that low-income people in their communities can do this work at the accuracy that the big tech sector wants, right? When Microsoft or Google work with us, they're not doing, like this is not charity, right? They are finding excellent data at a high accuracy, at a cost that's very, very competitive and often among the cheapest in the market. So I think the question for Karya is exactly that, right? Now that you have proven this, capital is a constraint for us and we're working on fixing that. But if that's not a constraint, like we want to do this at a dramatic scale and bring this to everywhere, right? So this year we expand to Africa through platform as a service models, and we expand to South America. So we're really excited about just taking this further. Yeah.
I have one follow-up question. Uh, Sam Altman is raising trillions of dollars or asking trillions of dollars to raise. How much are you raising?
So it's a great question. And I mean, I have a very easy answer. We're raising $10 million, which covers our fundraising needs for the next 3 years. But to make that answer bigger than us, because I don't want this presentation to just be about my work. The Indian philanthropic ecosystem, and this is going back to the work that Emma does with Nudge and Give India, is $13 billion a year. So all the money that comes to India, philanthropic, individual, religious, communal, everything is $13 billion a year. The US individual is $500 billion a year, right? And the US economy is not 35 times bigger than the Indian economy, which means the Indian philanthropic ecosystem is disproportionately smaller, right? So to live in a world where non-profit founders like Utkarsh and I can raise big monies, big amounts of money in India, we need the Indian philanthropic ecosystem to dramatically accelerate its giving. It's incredible. I did have are we being recorded? Yes. Oh, shit. But I did have a very funny meeting where I was meeting someone that, like, how many people are watching? I mean, I'll tell you this later. But it was a very funny meeting where I met someone who had just met Sam, and I added a 0 to my presentation because I was like, oh my God, I'm going to look like a fool if I'm asking for $1 million in front of this person. But it's an exciting time, and I think really appreciate that question.
And from Hourglass Ventures, I'm pledging to be part of it. We'll decide how much it is.
Thank you so much.